Am I the butthole for not co-parenting with PPL that aren't related to my child? This might be a long one, bear with me. So when my ex and I split up, he took our daughter. I had already been planning on 50-50 custody, but he was being his own attorney and dragging it out, and our case got dismissed several times. No custody had gotten established, and I was still fighting for 50-50 up to our daughter being 3 years old. It started when she was 4 months. In December of 2023 my ex passed away. And I now have full custody. However, his family, a wealthy stepfather who remarried after my ex's mom passed away, helped him a lot when he was working for their business, and they would act as a daycare essentially. They had my daughter 3 days a week and every other weekend when I didn't have her. I told them and tried to be very clear, I do not intend on keeping my child away from anyone that she loves. I do not plan to take away any of her family. She still has some family on my side she hasn't met yet. And family on her dad's biological side that want to see her. This all happened right before the holidays, and it has been difficult to give everyone time to see her while also getting her used to the schedule of being here more often and still maintaining my other child's schedule, and it's just going to take time. But the non-biological family immediately accused me of ripping her away from them, literally told me that the second day of her being with me. I've told them time and time again that they will see her, but 3 entire families want to see her, and it isn't easy right now. But they seem to feel entitled to 3 days a week and every other weekend. Personally, I am not interested in co-parenting with them. I'd like to keep their relationships in my child's life, but on my terms as her mother. They have no consideration for what I am going through. I do understand they are grieving it. That might explain some of the harassment I have gotten through text, but I have not argued. I have only explained my position. And kept the point that you will see her. I am not keeping her from you. I just need time to figure things out, and then they will respond hostile and accuse me or trying to make them my enemies. There's been a lot of shady things. They are arguing with my ex's bio dad because when he passed they went into his home and took all of his legal and important documents he had stored away, including my daughter's birth certificate, and they will not give them to his bio dad. They made a GoFundMe saying it was for my daughter but never spoke to me about it. They almost had north of 7,000. I reported it because if they really intended to give it to my daughter it'd have been brought to my attention, and I don't need the money. It was right before the holidays, so I wanted everyone who donated to get their money back, and due to them not being related to the minor the GoFundMe was for, they didn't have the right anyways without my permission. Still not entirely sure what to make of that whole ordeal. When I confronted them about that, they placed blame on my ex's bio dad, which didn't even make sense. He had nothing to do about it. In his opinion, he felt it was fraud in my daughter's likeliness. My daughter has only asked about her biologically family. I had planned that as she asks about the non-blood family I would plan little days with each of them. I don't want too much for her all at once because I'm worried about her wondering why everyone is there but not her dad. She is only 3. And I am nervous to let her be alone with the other family because of the way they talk to her about the situation. I'd prefer to keep it short and understandable for her age. Daddy had to go to heaven now. He can't come visit because God needs him now. One day when we are old and lived our whole lives we will see him again. Things like that, but they told her he was in an accident. That seems too much to me. I don't want her to become anxious about death so young. And when I picked her up from them they said, honey, tell mama why everyone is so sad today, and they made her say because her daddy died, and that made me feel sick. I do not understand why they found that appropriate. When I was with my ex he always said he doesn't like several people in that family very much. He would say they are manipulative, overly religious to the point of deep judgment, and self-entitled people. He hated that his brothers his mom had with his stepdad called the new wife mom, and I know he bit his tongue when our daughter called her grandma. He was only letting them have our daughter so much not because he considered them family but because they were financially stable enough to help out and spoil his little girl. I don't think I'd ever tell them that, and I don't want to speak ill of a dead man, but we did break up because of his alcoholism and some domestic violence. But they really believe she's craziest story. If I were crazy I don't think my other child's father would have said right in court it's in that child's best interest to be with me full time. There's just so much to think about. I had to block the woman of that house because it got to the point where I felt harassed by her. I added my ex's brothers on Facebook so that if they or my ex's stepfather want to see her they can reach out. But I still wonder, am I a hole for not letting them see her immediately and whenever they want? My family and my ex's biological family all seem to think I should just cut them out completely. They say they understand why I want to keep them in her life, but that I am being overly sympathetic while they have been apathetic and demanding towards me. I am in a rough spot. Am I the butthole?